This is the Porsche 911 Turbo, the chassis or iteration 991. Now the Turbo is the pinnacle if you're looking for a Porsche sports car. There is one up from this called the Turbo S. Track fiends will like the GT3 or the GT3 RS, but for most people who want the best that Porsche has to offer in the Carrera line, the Turbo is typically the car they go for. Now the reason I have the price list here is because it is a bit shocking. In Canada, starts basically at $170,000. This particular car has the full leather interior in Carrera red. It's got Porsche dynamic chassis control. It's got the automatic door and start. It's got park assist front and back, the Sport Chronos package, the sunroof, voice control for the Navi system, and it's got the high-end infotainment system, which is the Burmeister stereo, and that brings the total up to $189,000. Wow, that is a lot of money, but it's a lot of car. And what I call the 911 is the ultimate chameleon Carrera. It does everything really well, from stop-and-go city traffic to flat out on the track. Now what's at play here are twin turbos on the 3.8-liter flat six with variable scroll turbos, which means you put your foot into it and there is no lag. I mean, if there is, it's undetectable to me. You have the Sport and the Sport Plus. You can do launches with this car with the launch control. It goes 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just regular drive in 3.4 seconds. You put it in the Sport Plus with the launch control, 3.2 seconds. The all-wheel drive system is always shifting and moving around. Now a little bit about the 991, the latest iteration of this new Carrera. It's wider, it's longer. The wheelbase is 10 centimeters longer than the previous car. It's more squat. As I mentioned, it's lighter, so you have 520 horsepower and a lighter car than the previous car, but dimensionally is a little bit bigger. That's going to give you added stability. So that means that you have much more high-speed control. Now the thing is, in North America, there's really nowhere to exercise this car. You can use it as a daily commuter. It actually is a fantastic car for that, and you can actually just putt around, just put it in drive and get on your Bluetooth, and you don't even realize that you're driving something as high performance as this. But with just a flick of a button, you can push it into Sport, you can go to Sport Plus, and it takes this car from an average everyday, well, actually above average everyday commuter to a fantastic sports car. That's why it's the perfect chameleon Carrera. You can drive it every day, do your business calls, you can park it in the town because it's quite small, and then when you want to, you can launch this car and have an absolute blast. But the reality is, as I mentioned, nowhere really to drive it. So is it a bit overkill for what us here in North America can be able to achieve with it day in and day out? Absolutely. But it's about being the best. It's got tons of power. It has fabulous creature comforts, a spectacular interior. So if you can afford this car, why not get it? First thing you notice when you get in this Carrera is the fact that they've gone for the Carrera full leather interior. That means bright red, white on the outside, bright red on the inside. You got to hand it to Porsche Cars Canada for coming up with these very brightly colored press cars. If I'm going to splash out almost 200 grand on a car, I'm not sure I'd choose this color, but I do appreciate it. The full leather interior is something to behold. Everything, I mean everything, is covered in leather. It really is sumptuous. Now the other thing you notice when you get in the new 911 Turbo, there is no manual transmission. It's only PDK. It's the 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, so you cannot row the gears on your own. Now, for a lot of Porsche enthusiasts, that really is something that they're going to miss. Now, as I'd mentioned, this is already a very, very expensive car, almost $200,000, 520 horsepower, all-wheel drive, all the push you could ever want from any kind of automobile. But the reality is, there's nowhere to drive a car like this in North America. We don't have Autobahns. Really, only the place you get to take a car like this would be to the racetrack. But the reality is, most people that are going to the track on a regular basis will gravitate towards the GT3, or take a lesser Carrera and make it a real sort of racetrack ready car. This really is the ultimate car for the wealthy person that wants to make a statement. It's expensive, anybody that sees it knows it, and it does everything very well. It's the ultimate chameleon Carrera. You can be very happy driving a business person to work or driving with a lot of scoot if you want to. You know what? It's not really about what the car's capable of doing, it's really about the person that owns it and what they're capable of buying.